It seemed inevitable with a long-running series titled The Legend of Zelda that eventually Zelda would take the reins and lead a mainline game, an idea not new to longtime fans. While there was an interesting conversation to be had about what a Zelda game would look like with Zelda as the protagonist, lost in this was the other interesting conversation. What would Link be like in this kind of Zelda game, if included at all? Well, with the release of Echoes of Wisdom, not only did we get our first mainline playable Zelda, but we also got our first non-main character Link. Even so, this version of Link is one of the best in the series, remaining consistent with his older iterations and adding new aspects that help deepen our understanding of him in a way not possible had he been the main character. So take up your sword and shield, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about how Link in Echoes of Wisdom, though not the hero that game needed, was still the hero we deserved. The beginning of Echoes of Wisdom flirts with the legacy of Link as the hero throughout the franchise. What is normally a game's worth of progression for our hero is packed into Echoes of Wisdom's opening. He cuts down 3 dark nuts with ease, and for a moment we embody the immense power of a swordsman, a sharpshooter, a bombardier, and an acrobat, creating a dramatic tension when we eventually have to face his dark echo in combat, knowing fully what he's capable of. A legacy foe is also familiar with this blonde swordsman, commenting on his continued meddling before engaging in a duel. All of this is a microcosm of Zelda's iconography and the relationship between Link, Zelda, and Ganon throughout the series' history. A trident-wielding pig monster, a princess trapped in crystal, a green-clad hero. Link defeats the villain, but Echoes of Wisdom flips the legacy on its head. And Link, in what ordinarily is a moment of triumph inverting into a final act of self-sacrifice, is gone. They say a great way to know someone is not to listen to how they talk about themselves, but to listen to how others talk about them. In every other Zelda game, characters talk at Link. But with him stolen away to the still world for the first time, Zelda, and us as players, learn about his character from other citizens of Hyrule. When Zelda reaches Suthorn Village, a small farming community on the outskirts of town, she finds many of its inhabitants, seemingly a tight-knit group, concerned for the young man. An old lady is distraught that one of us villagers has been caught in a rift, in a home with a wooden sword on the floor, perhaps remnants of children play-acting as their hometown hero, something not unfamiliar to the series. An old man comments on the terrible state of the village, lamenting that things would be better if only Link were here. He goes on to describe Link as a young fellow from the village. He's better with a sword than anyone. He helps us with lots of problems, monsters, weeds, you name it. But he's gone off on a journey, right when we need him. The irony, of course, is that this journey is to vanquish the very issue plaguing Suthorn and broader Hyrule. Eventually, Zelda reaches Link's house, with an axe and a stump outside the front door. Inside, we see the chopped wood, some potion bottles, an owl statue, 3 books that look conspicuously like some other Zelda books, a little green hat, and a blanket lined with Triforces on a bed unmade, as if left in a hurry. Suthorn Village gives us a glimpse of Link not wrapped in a grand heroic legacy, but as a regular young man. He's self-sufficient, helpful, and well-respected throughout his whole village, connecting him to his farm boy heritage, missed when he's gone, and when things go awry, he's trustworthy and capable. Just how capable is clear when we first fight his echo in Suthorn Ruins. Upon his defeat, we reclaim Link's sword engraved with his name, allowing us to transform into a sort of echo of our own. Try commenting, "You look strong," like that guy who wears green. Once the rift in Suthorn is repaired, Zelda is led to a house in the forest where we meet Lueburry, a researcher and Impa's brother, who teaches us more about Link. Here we begin to see that he is not simply a regular boy. Initially, Lueburry is hastily packing a bag because he's got to save Link, only pulled from his single-minded pursuit after recognizing Link's cloak. Through a mix of these conversations and Lueburry's diary found in his basement, which also includes prototypes of swords and bows and bombs of might, Zelda learns the history of the rifts and the details of Link's mission to fight the monsters they spawn, utilizing the weapon Lueburry made from might crystals, the Sword of Might, to defeat that blue monster. Lueburry further expands on his relationship with our little green-clad hero, how they first met, and Link's backstory. Folks in Southern Village told Lueburry that Link was once stolen away with a group of kids who, remarkably, returned. Though many of the children returned with no memory of the event, their voices and spirits lost, Link was different. Still voiceless, but with memory intact and able to sense the rifts. Instead of becoming a victim of his circumstances, Link embraced his quote-unquote curse, sensing rifts, fighting monsters, and dedicating his efforts to save countless people from ending up in rifts. Not just because he's self-motivated, but because it's the right thing to do. But the diary also hints at a deeper relationship between Lueburry and Link. Several entries begin with Link stopped by, highlighting the frequency and familiarity of their friendship. The relationship is also meaningful beyond Link's muteness, with Lueburry noting his feelings come through as clear as day, though I generally struggle to interpret what he's thinking. Deeply moved by Link's bravery, we learn Lueburry continued to help Link, gifting Link his hood and making him new weapons, the bow and bombs. The last diary entry sets up the beginning of the game, while also perhaps giving the greatest insight into the relationship. Link steps by in a hurry, like the unmade bed implied, to save Zelda from Southern ruins and Ganon. Though Lueburry has armed Link as best he can, he still worries, saying, "Please, stay safe and return to us, Link." There is a tenderness in Lueburry's concern that is continued when we talk to him throughout the game, and is abundantly clear when he eventually sees Link once the rifts are vanquished from Hyrule. Through Lueburry, we learn that not only is Link a proficient and capable swordsman fighting for justice and peace, but that he is also human, with friends who care about him, who know what he sacrifices, and who hope for his safety. There are a lot of great aspects to Link in Echoes of Wisdom, from the early game's take on his legacy in the series, to the more personal aspects revealed through his relationships, to the king, unbeknownst to him, gifting him legendary status, saying, "A swordsman in green saved you from a fell beast?" Quite the tale. All of these things, from his upbringing as my mother would say, such a nice boy, to embracing the cards life dealt him no matter how stacked the deck, to fighting for what is right with sword or stick, to eventually being recognized as the hero of legend and the rightful bearer of the Triforce of Courage, to aiding the princess in the defeat of a primordial entity. All of these point to the fact that destiny is not decreed, but determined, not by what we're given, but by how we use it. Whether farm boy or fabled hero, the fight for what is right begins with you. Thanks for watching.